Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to my new video where we are going to be going over 5 tips that I think every single Ashe player needs to know. Now, if you're new to my channel, my name is LowFit. I do educational content, I do tips videos, guide videos. If curious about my experience, peaked trying to get into the D2 promos, playing mid-top support and a bit of ADC. And I want to pass on some of that knowledge to you guys and help you in your climb. And if you have a yearning for a utility ADC, Ashe can be your girl if you are good with positioning. Without further ado, just 2 quick things before we get into the tips, guys. I'm going to put a link to my Discord if you want to send me a direct message. I'm going to try and be as interactive with you guys as possible. I know I took a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm going to be right back on the grind and on Discord. And then also, if you have your own Ashe tips, I'd love to hear your thoughts right down below in the comments, and just kind of create a little bit of a forum to help out anyone that might stumble across the video. It's always nice because I am limited to the format with only 5 tips. If you have your own personal stuff, I would love to hear your thoughts. All right, guys, and let's jump into the first tip. I want to talk about a couple of things you want to look for before you're doing your all-in with your ultimate. First situation that you need to have a good understanding of is where the enemy jungler is. The last thing you want to do is look for an all-in with your arrow when the enemy jungler is just sitting in the bushes just waiting to pounce on you. Next up, you want to have a slow proc on the enemy so it's easier to hit your arrow. Obviously, it's going to limit their dodging ability with your arrow if they are slowed. Next up, you want to have your ranger's focus up so you have maximum amount of DPS on the CC target and be able to burst them out before they try and flash away or use their mobility to get away. Next up, you want to look for targets that are hugging walls, because it's extremely easy to hit skill shots on people that are completely denying themselves an entire way to dodge. So looking for people right there that are hugging the wall. As you can see, the reticule is quite big, and you can just lean it a little bit to the left because you know they can't dodge to the right, and it's just going to be impossible for that person to dodge your ultimate when they're slowed without flashing. So keep this in mind. Again, really quickly, hawk shot, slow on the enemy target, and then the ranger's focus stacked up, and then you look for your ultimate, right? And that's how you want to look to play out your all-ins with Ashe. If you have any questions for me, you can hit me up in the comments down below. All right, tip number 2. Now, I know a lot of you guys are going to be like, LowFit, I do that all the time. I'm so good at it. You just haven't seen me. But the fact of the matter is, from iron to platinum, I rarely see people that are able to orb walk at a decent level when they're playing Ashe. The reason why I really want to hammer this home on Ashe is because she's a really immobile champion that relies on her ability to kite people out with slow. So I want you guys to go and practice tool and just make sure everything is at a really good spot. And how you want to picture orb blocking and using the tether when you're playing against enemy champions is you want to stay at the max range, and when they step forward, you take a step back. Here, let's put up a couple target down. You see, so the whole general idea is this is your optimal engage range. This is where you're going to be able to auto people, and some are not going to be able to auto back due to range differences. So how you want to take a look at this is if they take a step forward, you take a step back. They go forward, you take a step back. Step back, and after every auto, you want to look to move. You can bind this. I have this bound. I think the default key is A, so I have my attack move to A. So just get really fluid with this. You don't want to be like kind of like stuttering or being one of those people in bronze, silver, or gold even that I've seen people just like try and stand still as the ADC and just get murdered by people because they're not going to dodge any skill shots and they're not going to deny any autos from melee champions that are looking to auto them. So really, if you want to play Ashe, you need to have some of the best orb blocking to just be able to compete with people like maybe Tristana that are able to just jump away and ult people away. So just really make sure to go into practice tool and get your orb blocking down, and it's really going to help you, first of all, offensively with the chase down, and then second, defensively with being able to kite people out and do a lot of damage as they're trying to chase you down. down. All right, now we'll wrap up tip number 2. All right, and jumping into tip number 3, I want to talk about something that is extremely important with Ashe that is a little bit unique to her and her catch potential with her ultimate. So, vision control. I know I'm not the best with buying control words all the time, but I think this is just a really great item that you need to be using with Ashe because of your ability to get picks with your ultimate and your really good all-in potential. Denying vision and throwing your arrow from out of vision of the enemy is going to just be great for getting picks. So please look for these opportunities. They are going to be presenting themselves all the time when you're in low elo because people really do not respect the fog of war. So you can either get a sweeper, you can get control wards, you can ask your support to maybe get control wards if you want to be super greedy with your gold. But look to set up these plays, particularly when you're ahead. You should be looking for these pick plays when you are out of vision and they think you're safe, but then you just get a absolutely free arrow on the enemy champions and are able to just do really good work. Obviously, this doesn't only work in lane. You can look for picks like this. From here, maybe you're playing around a dragon and you want to deny vision, you put a control word here, and you just really want to look to set up picks when you are playing with Ashe because it's a huge part of her kit. You aren't playing like Vayne, you aren't playing Tristana, you aren't playing Misfortune that maybe focus a little bit more on team fights. You're playing a champion that has really high pick potential, so you want to play it like it's a pick champion. You want to set up situations with your really good vision control of your hawk shot and looking for numbers advantage, pinging your allies, trying to coordinate with them, and really take full advantage of Ashe's kit. And that will wrap up tip number 3. All right, getting into tip number 4, I want to talk a little bit of the philosophy and how you should look to play out the game when you are playing Ashe. First of all, she is not a flashy ADC. She isn't a crazy outplay champion. She isn't Vayne. She isn't Kai'Sa. She isn't Draven or Lucian, where you can just do these really insane things and be hyper aggressive. How you want to play with Ashe is you want to look at her as a counter puncher, right? You want to let the enemies make mistakes, particularly if you're in low elo from iron to like low diamond. People are going to put themselves in really bad positions, and you can look to punish them with your slows and with your ultimate. You want to really be using your summoners most of the time in a defensive manner because they are really just your only ability to get away from people. So always try and be the counter puncher. You want to use your slow to punish people that go out of position and let your enemy or your allies chase them down. You want to use your ultimate when that Vayne tumbles in to your whole team in late game and thinks he's going to do a 1v5 Gosu outplay. So just keep these in mind when you're playing Ashe. Is actually the reason why I think she's a decent champion for me is because I'm not the best micro. I've been able to get to diamond with pretty much gold micro just because of my decision making, my timing, and my being able to play just kind of easy to execute champions is kind of like just a whole philosophy that is really wrapped up quite well by Ashe. So always be looking to punish and let the enemy make mistakes when you are picking up Ashe. If you have any questions about this philosophy, you can hit me up in the comments down below, or if you disagree with me, I'm completely open. Be like, hey, I'm super flashy with Ashe. I do all these crazy outplays. Here's a link to my YouTube page. I'd love to see it. Yeah, that'll wrap up tip number 4. Alright, I want to talk about the 2 different builds you can look to do when you are playing Ashe. First up, I want to talk about the Comet build that is kind of starting to be the new thing that a lot of people are starting to try out, and it is a very heavy CDR build. You get the Trinity Force and then the Essence Reaver, and then it's basically into your crit build. But what this allows you to do is really spam out your W quite a bit, and then you get a lot of mana back for your auto attacks. And where this kind of build really thrives is it does well into squishy enemy team comps that are going to be taking a lot of damage, but they're also going to be diving you a lot. So you want to be kind of staying even farther back than your auto range a lot of the time because you're going to be under a lot of threat until the assassins or divers use their kind of their mobility spells that they might use at you, they might use at someone else, and then you can look to engage the fight. So this is going to be just like Comet, and then Monoflow Band, and just a sorcery, basic sorcery build with a inspiration secondary. If you have any questions, I'd love to help you out in the comments down below. It's going to be a pretty good mid-game spiking build because of Trinity Force just is the ultimate mid-game item, and then it also transitions quite well into the late game. But again, this build is best used when you have maybe a tougher lane where you're going against a poke lane, maybe a Brand or a Zyra is just going to be bullying you a little bit. The Comet is going to add a little bit of bite to be able to fight back against those poke lanes, and maxing out your W is going to be quite nice. The second build I want to talk about is going to be extremely good for just playing front to back team fights, things that Ashe really can thrive at because of her low mobility. And this is just a Blade of the Rune King into your basic crit build with lethal tempo. Now this is obviously going to give you a lot more damage in the all-ins because the lethal tempo obviously is giving you 110% attack speed at level 18, where the Comet is just giving you 100 damage. And if you do the math, it is just going to be an insane amount more damage. It's going to be pumped out from lethal tempo if you are not under any threat. So you want to look at the enemy team comp. Hey, they don't really have any assassins. They just have a backline mage and then a backline ADC like me with a couple of tanks in the front. This is when you want to run the lethal tempo with Bork. And then again, enemy team squishy with a bunch of divers. You might want to look at the Comet with the Essence Reaver and Trinity Force. If you have any questions, or if you have any cool random builds that you run on Ashe, maybe you run a tank Ashe build, oddly enough. I remember running a couple custom games where someone was going like Thornmail Ashe, and it was just beating everyone. I think it was just kind of a meme, but it was really a funny build. So that'll wrap up my video, guys. If you enjoyed it, please remember to hit that like and subscribe button. And as always, take it easy.